Well, you talked about your history as a meteorologist, a television meteorologist and local news, I should say, as a former local news reporter. We have that in common. It's interesting because we've been clobbered here in the Northeast as the remnants of Tropical Storm Debbie have tore through. There were tornado watches here in the Washington, D.C. area today, tornado warnings, in fact. First of all, you talk about your metamorphosis from climate change critic to someone who firmly believes it now. Are these storms, the frequency of them, how often they're happening, the intensity of them, the fact that they're happening so early? Do you attribute that, at least in part, to climate change? And what should the country be doing to try and stop this encroachment of climate change on an everyday basis?
As a meteorologist, we have to look at the ferocity of these storms, the timing of them, the frequency. They are going up because we're putting more heat, we're putting more energy into the system. We're seeing record numbers and record temperatures of water temperatures. That fuels the fire, if you will, for these types of storms. And as we continue to look out at what's going on with cooler water in the Pacific, with a La Nina that is developing out in the Pacific, as that water cools, it tends to promote hurricane strength in the East Coast. And so, look, just yesterday, NOAA revised its projections for the remainder of hurricane season. Now a 90% chance that we're going to have a much more active hurricane season. And so we need to make sure that we're ready. Especially with increased risk up the eastern seaboard. And also it means that the federal government needs to respond swiftly after disasters like what we're seeing right now to make sure that basic needs are met, but then also to make sure that we can quickly revive commerce and industry.
And we just played a pretty lengthy piece from our colleagues in Texas about the insurance crisis that they're dealing with there and how natural disasters are just causing a skyrocketing cost when it comes to home insurance costs. Obviously, each state is handling this differently. There's a different toll for those of us that live in Virginia and Maryland than there would be for folks that live in states that are in the tropics and in areas where hurricanes are more prevalent. But should there be a federal response to this? Should the federal government do something to try and equalize the cost of insurance to try and make it not so burdensome?
Right. I mean, just look at what's happened in Florida. My own brother is a resident of Sarasota. And went 3 days without being able to get out of his own home. And then he called me up and he said, Eric, he said, flood insurance is incredibly expensive. And he goes, I'm not even in a floodplain, yet the water came up to my door. We are going to need to tackle these challenges because it's not just people that live in the tropics. It's people that live here. We had 14 inches of rain in Fulton County, Cuba, Illinois. I just went and talked with residents there last week. Some of the folks there don't even have homeowners insurance. We need to make sure that the federal government is helping not just along the coast, but up into the heartland, because there is an economic impact. And we know, unfortunately, it's going to get worse as time goes on.
We have to go, Congressman, but now that you're not a practicing meteorologist anymore, do you still get blamed when it rains? Or do people...
So many members of Congress are saying, Eric, can I fly through Dallas today? I'm proud.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.